And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here of the HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup number 28, Revelation Retake. Oh, as we are working through not just the group stage, but now through the playoffs. We've made it here to the final day of the playoffs. I'm of course ShoWTimE with you, joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Whew, we are back. We have returned here, and it's been a pretty intense week of StarCraft, catching up with all of HomeStory Cup, with all of the groups, and of course through all the playoffs as well, to the point where we've reached here, the final day of the playoffs. We have our top four. We have our top four players, and let's catch up on the bracket vibe. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Of course, we were live last night with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, and it was an amazing tournament with a plethora of PvPs, of course, but with some crazy upsets as well. I won't spoil it. Do recommend the VODs, though. Do highly recommend the VODs. We had some amazing StarCraft last night, and the StarCraft continues this morning here as we do catch up on said bracket. From the top, we have ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, he worked his way through SOS, through Big Gabe as well, to advance onto the upper bracket finals. Likewise, Clem was showcasing his TVZ prowess, not dropping a single map. Clem, he 3-0'd Lambo, he 3-0'd several, and is up against ShoWTimE in the upper bracket finals. Let's go, Bible, let's go. We have our top two players. Meanwhile, don't forget, there is a low bracket. There's a low bracket. We had Big Gabe. He was able to pop off. He was able to bring down several in a TVZ in a 3-2 scoreline. Bearing in mind that Big Gabe, of course, he did showcase a lot of mech in that series. I was able to bring several down, advancing on to low bracket finals. So we have our top three, I should emphasize. Top three players. We have Clem, ShoWTimE, and Hero Marine. Let's go, baby, let us go. So we have our top three players, and we're here to crown our champion. We'll be starting things off, of course, to the upper bracket finals, leading that into lower bracket finals, into the grand finals thereafter. So we have 3 series tonight, 2 best of 5s and a best of 7 to end the evening, to end the tournament, to end HomeStory Cup. Let's go. Let us go. We are here, we are ready. Likewise, when it comes to the rest of the week, when it comes to the rest of the events, we do also still have our regular weekly tournaments scheduled and lined up. After we catch up with HomeStory Cup, we're going to be catching up with Little League Cup as well. So again, we got a lot of catching up to do. For now, though, we're here to crown our HomeStory Cup champion. Of course, bearing in mind this was an offline LAN event over in Krefeld, Germany, and we are here covering the replays, catching up on otherwise missed matches. Traditionally, over the past couple of years, like 3, 4, 5 years, we have been the B stream for HomeStory Cup. We were unable to be the B stream this season. We were unavailable, so we missed out on the live broadcast of the event. That's why we're here after the fact with the replays. That's why we're here. But here we go. Going to be jumping into the first game of our first series. Going to be jumping into ShoWTimE versus Clem. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline. Let's go. Let us go. Whew. As we are stepping into our best of 5. Just catching up. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. We go, and stepping into this Clem, he is the heavy favorites coming into this tournament. Again, he he does have the best TVP in the world. See him go toe-to-toe against players like Classic, like Hero, like MaxPax, like ShoWTimE, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can bring him down. I will say that making it all the way to the finals is already an amazing feat from ShoWTimE to make it through this far, and we'll see how he compares to Clem. We have seen these two go back and forth in the past, that is true, but alas, Clem is still a beast. He's still a titan. He's still, I would say, the best Terran player in the world, and not an easy one to bring down. Let's go. Let us go. For the time being, though, we do have our openers. Economic opener here out of Clem, going for a single gas, going for a Rax Expand. Likewise, ShoWTimE going for a standard opener himself. Now, based on the previous series that ShoWTimE did showcase when it came to his match versus Hero Marine, ShoWTimE, he was very mid to late game oriented. We saw a lot more defensive play. We saw a lot more, again, like 3-4 base play as well. I bring that up. I don't know if that's really going to be applicable here, at least for game 1. I'm not privy to the vetoes. We'll get to that point eventually. But Tourmaline is known for shorter games. Small map, short rush distance by ground, very open expansions. Aggression is favored here. It goes both ways for both the Protoss and the Terran. That aggression is going to be hitting that much harder and that much faster. And we'll see how our players do open up aggressively. That's the scary thing about Clem. I was mentioning briefly here about Clem, you know, his accolades in TvP and his strengths and his again, his dominance in said matchup. He's a very diverse player, very diverse. Clem, he is willing to play like Maru, for example, and turtle up, be defensive, and embrace the late game. Like, he is more than happy to. At the same time, though, if Clem sees an opening, he's more than happy to proxy and go for a proxy starport into a Hellion drop, to go for a proxy racks into proxy Marauder, for example, to cheese things up, to go into a 2-base all-in. Clem is very diverse in TvP, and he can be a hard one to read. Again, it's going to be on ShoWTimE to confirm what exactly Clem is up to. First things first, it's going to be Zealot first into the Adept. The goal here is to delay the CC. The Zealot has arrived and looks like just barely will arrive in time to delay that command center. And again, there's something you can achieve specifically on these smaller maps. Because the rush distance by ground is so short, you can get away with this. On larger maps, the Zealot would arrive a little bit too late, and higher chance that CC will finish in time. For now though, came to the low grounds. Again, the goal isn't to cancel, the goal is just to delay. Just to delay until the Cyclone arrives. So the Cyclone is on the way. Behind this, ooh, do you see what I see? That is a second Rax, not a starport. So there's a higher chance that Clem throws down a third Rax. Yep, there it is. So 3-1-1, third Rax before starport. What does this mean? This means a prioritization of Marine production, prioritization of stim, of that stim timing, of the bio army, and this can lead into a 2-base all-in, which is kind of what we expect on Tourmaline. Now, it's a little bit too early to confirm a 2-base all-in. If we skip the starport entirely, then you can just pull the boys and send it. Otherwise, you can get a starport, go for your medevac timing instead, and still expand behind it. It's still an aggressive timing, of course, but it would be less all-in. You know, the Cyclone did zone away the Adept. With that, the CC is on the way. Checking ShoWTimE's vision, he did shade up the ramp, but you can see here, did not scout behind the initial wall. Doesn't exactly know what's going on. Did see the add-on swap. True. Is where the add-on swap at least. Behind this was 2-gate. Oh, but greedy. Oh, a 2-gate blink into a robo into a third. Okay, a pretty greedy start here from ShoWTimE. I mean, I say greedy. He did go for the robo at least. True. Went for the robo before the expansion. So, not as greedy as otherwise could have been. And we'll see if he can keep up. He's going to have minimal stalkers to work with, unfortunately. But he will have detection. He'll have vision. He'll have the observer. And potentially defensive immortals as well, if need be. Meanwhile, there's a starport. So starport's on the way. Again, now there's a higher chance that Clem does expand behind this, but it's still building up towards that stim timing. Upgrades are almost done. Stim is on the way. Combat shields is on the way. +1 attack is on the way. Upgrades are coming. SCV scouts. SCV confirms the third base timing. So with that, Clem, he's now aware that this was an earlier third nexus. That should prompt him to move out. Again, that should prompt him. Observer likewise should be able to spot the move out as well. So Observer does step by. Slips into the main, gets eyes on the full production line. And is aware of the medevacs, is aware of the timing. We can see ShoWTimE moving out ahead of time. The goal here is to delay. Ideally pick off the medevac, but otherwise pick off some Marines, force a stim. Clem does give chase. Let up say shade into the mineral line. Okay. They shade in, they get 2. They're gonna pick off 2 SCVs. Can we get 3? Barely can, so 3 SCVs go down. It's an okay damage, but Clem is not stopping, he's not slowing down, he's still pushing out across the map. Medevacs have arrived, stim is done, and +1 will finish in the middle of the fight. It will finish up in time. Oh! Ooh, Cyclone barely survives, and here's a stim. The army does rush forward. Ooh. Force is going to be zoning it back. There's the battery. There's the second battery on the way. But the army's just zoned away from the natural. Again, better concave for Clem. We spoke about this earlier, but this map is just so open at the natural. Depowers the robo as well. This is becoming too much. Depowers the robo, takes down one of the gateways. There's only 1 gateway left. Remember, it was 2-gate blink. Thankfully, you have 2 more in the main, so 3 gates in total. But the army still rushes forward. There was no defensive immortal, and with that, ShoWTimE is being broken. Yeah, he's being broken. He will lose every single unit here. As Clem just rallies across the map, ShoWTimE just a little bit too greedy here. The batteries were thrown down, that is true, but it was not good enough. And with that, Clem, he just snowballs out of control. He breaks the main army, pushing into the third base. Oof. We're down to one Stalker, Pappy. GG gets called. And Clem takes the lead in the series 1-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, these early sim timings, they hit so hard on Tourmaline. Again, ShoWTimE winding it back, he did choose to go for a greedier build. That's why he had a smaller army. He also chose not to get a safety immortal either, despite scouting the main. Remember, he saw the main base with the observer, he saw what was coming his way, but he didn't have any robot production. Again, he was more concerned about getting his third base up and running and getting it saturated and protecting the third base, but really that was a bait. And it isn't just about, you know, greed on Tourmaline, it isn't just about cutting corners, but also, as we try to emphasize, the area and the entrance to the natural and to the third are very open. So it's easier as the aggressing player to get your concave up, to be able to spread out your units and get as much DPS out of them as possible, as opposed to on maps that have a choke point, which limits your units moving in and limits the amount of units that actually be attacking at a time. So that can be more limiting on other maps, not on Tourmaline. Not on Tourmaline, but GG, well played. With that, Clem, he does take a lead in the series, and we are going to be following Clem and ShoWTimE into game number 2, into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. Whew, and again, a really fast, really swift game number 1, but we should be slowing things down here coming to game number 2. Going to be loading into a larger map. There's a lot to get into. Spawning in the right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back. Representing Sentinels, it is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Here we go. Here we go, as we are going to be settling in. So we're going to be calming down. And again, welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, has a more defendable natural. As you can see here, we spoke about the entrances, we spoke about the choke points. There is a ramp coming into the natural, so this area can be force fielded, or the defending army can have a greater concave against the aggressing army instead, so it is much more difficult to engage into. I will say though that the third base is more open. You can see here a much larger ramp, a much wider entrance is available, multiple entrances as well, so the third base can be a little bit more difficult. The fourth base is very difficult though. Again, it's very open, very exposed. We have seen many players struggle to defend that fourth. But the game should not end anywhere near as quickly here in game number 2. But we'll see. We'll see. For now, economic opener. Once again, single gas into the CC on the low ground. Last game, we saw that this command center was delayed by the early zealots and by the adept. This time, you can see that ShoWTimE isn't making a zealot, just because from here, like, it would just take too long to get across the map. It would not quite be as worth it. So from here, we're settling in. I would say at this point, there's a lower chance that Clem goes for a second Rax. There's a higher chance he goes for a 1-1-1 instead. Nice run, Clem. Does open Rax, factory into the early tech lab. This should lead into an add-on swap into early Cyclone. We can see Clem scouting for proxies. Hello, ShoWTimE. As he does hide his probe here on the south side of the map. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener, that is true, but ShoWTimE, you have our attention here. Are we planning to go for a proxy? What's going on? Bearing in mind he did not probe scouts. There's the add-on swap in the Cyclone. So far, the opener for Clem has been the same 2 games in a row. Of course, a cleaner opener this time because the CC is left untouched. No shot we're going proxy Dark. If it was gonna be Dark Shrine, there'd already be Pylon. The other option. No, okay, never mind. I mean, sure, I guess. See, I'm just used to seeing the Dark Shrine proxied. Here we just have the Dark Shrine at home, and we just proxy the Pylon afterwards. Okay, fair enough. There's a higher chance that this Dark Shrine gets scouted, but so far ShoWTimE, he was able to fully wall off the Reaper Cliff here coming into the main base. He has his units here at the natural, so there's actually no way for Reaper to scout. There's a chance that maybe there's a scan, but for the time being, Clem is in the dark. Okay. Now, when it comes to DT rushes like this in this matchup, it's very risky. It's high risk, high reward. Essentially, scans are available, true, and if a scan is available, you can just scan, you can kill the DT, and that's just it. You're fine as a Terran player. But the problem is that you have no reason to hold on to a scan. At this stage of the game, you're going to be muling as hard as possible, and depending on how this lines up, if the DT walks in and if Clem mules just as the DT does arrive, and if he has zero energy, that's just game. Like the game can just end. We have seen many top Terran players just insta GG when DTs arrive if they mule at the wrong moment. Another factor here is that it's not uncommon to see Raven-based openers for Raven Auto Turret Harass after a Mind Drop, but we can see it was Cyclone into Cloak Banshee. There is production available here to make a Raven, but so far there's no Ravens in sight, just Banshees. Here comes the Dark Templar, waddling on in, and we have a scan in the natural. There is a scan. And so far no mule. DT waddles in. Oh, he notices! Yeah. Keen eyes there by Clem. He does notice a shimmer. There's a scan. DT gets locked in, and DT gets 3 SCV kills as we have a second DT in the natural. But there's a second scan. 6 SCVs. Not bad. Not bad. Catching out 6 workers. DT will not escape. 6 workers for 2 Dark Templar. I mean, ideally you want more damage. Ideally you do want more value out of your Dark Templar. Essentially they killed 3 workers each. It's okay. Technically they also spent 2 scans. True. Like 2 scans were spent, and now we have a Raven on the way, and they were able to scout as well. Cloak, did it finish researching? It did. So this does disrupt the build. Some inadvertent damage was dealt. Basically Clem, as the Banshees, they barely get away. But if you remember, we had the tech lab on the starport making Banshees. Ideally this was meant to be 2. It was meant to be 2 Banshees, but as you can see here, we had to switch into the earlier Raven for constant detection. On top of that, Banshee got scouted, so that means there's less of a chance for the Cloak Banshee to deal some damage across the map. ShoWTimE, he's in position. He's got his battery in the main, a battery at the natural. He's fine. So it wasn't just the Dark Templar dealing economic damage, but it was also the Dark Templar forcing inefficiencies out of the build of Clem. So we have a back and forth. Behind this Clem going to his YA follow-up, getting to Sim, combat shields +1. But we are getting into the mid-game this time. There we go. How many shows today? It's the 3rd time we've seen ShoWTimE today. I mean, there's it's a very busy period in StarCraft for sure, because there's Pigsty and Wardy TV, the Wardy TV's Winter Championship, I think. But they've been like kind of overlapping with each other, and then we have RSL starting this week. So Pigsty is going on, the Wardy Championship is going on, RSL is starting this week as well. Maybe they always see Rising events like this. This is a lot. Meanwhile, Stalkers get into the main, not bad. You're getting 5, 6, 7, a second 7 SCV kills, not bad. Does recall back home, and Clem, he commits. Clem, he's committed, the boys are being pulled. Clem, he's 2 base all in. He's completely all in at this point, and charge is not yet done. Clem, he could pull this off. There are a couple of force fields available. Shows those force fields. Army Sims in, nice auto turret. Takes down the sentries. That's not enough. Wow, there's not enough here. ShoWTimE, he did a lot of economic damage across the map, but ShoWTimE, he does not have enough to defend. Yeah, not enough to survive. DTs, that don't help here either. That also delayed the tech. And Clem, he sims, and he wins. He sims, and he wins. He breaks down the front door, pushing into the natural. Ay, ay, ay. And there's just nothing here to defend. Robo's depowered. The bait did finish, but there's no Colossus. We're backing up a couple of Zealots here, but they're Medivacs. They're Medivacs, we can sustain these stims. Zealots go down. And Clemmy breaks through the natural, now pushing up into the main. That is a lot of Stalkers. True. There's a lot of Stalkers banking up in the main base as well. +1 is going to finish up. Just barely. Jesus, that was close. It does barely finish, but the Bio Army trades so efficiently here. The boys are being pulled. Every probe goes down. We have a Zealot warp in, but this is already critical damage. The Mind Shot. Oof. Asher gets baited. Dragging the army into another Widow Mine. Catching a Stalker. And Clem is just rallying. Clem is just rallying across the map. He knows that he has enough. He has broken ShoWTimE. GG gets called, and Clem, he'll take a lead in the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Clem. He'll take a 2-0 lead in the series. Yeah, against ShoWTimE, he had a shaky start. I mean, the DTs dealt some damage, right? They did kind of shake off the build of Clem. That's what we're trying to emphasize. They killed some SCVs, but they also kind of forced some inefficiencies out of Clem. The Banshee Harass didn't really do anything, but that's also why a 2-base all-in makes the most sense, right? Clem, his build was thrown off. His build was shaky. His opponent's tech was late. Because you went into DTs, that means your Twilight Council upgrades are delayed, your tech is delayed, your splash damage is delayed. As you saw, the bait did finish towards the end of the game, and Charge finished as the fight was happening, but he needed more time to really build up into that mid game. So ShoWTimE was vulnerable, and Clem, he's like, you know what? Just pull the boys. Let's just send it across the map up. Yeah. And again, there was a window in time where ShoWTimE was vulnerable because of the Dark Templar, right? Because of those DTs. GG, well played. With that, ShoWTimE, he was caught with his pants down, and with that, we are now getting to game number 3. Now, I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping for some more longer games, actually. Like, so far we've seen nothing but all-ins. It's just, yeah. To be fair, game 1 wasn't necessarily an all-in. Like, game 1 was a very strong timing, but Clem could expand behind it. Here in game 2 was a straight up all-in, but these have been really short games. Hoping for a little bit more here out of our players, but the pressure is on. The pressure is on. Here we go. We're going to be loading into White Rabbits, a much larger map in the map pool, more bases, a longer rush distance, more distance between the bases as well. We'll get into it. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Sentinels down in the series. Can he bounce back? And can he make a series out of this? It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Lem. Let's go. Let us go. And again, last game, the game did last a little bit longer than game 1. True, we got up to, I mean, at least ShoWTimE got up to proper 3-base saturation, but he was cut down before he could really embrace his tech, before he could get into his charge lots, before he could get into his splash damage. And ShoWTimE was cut down. Coming into White Rabbits, can ShoWTimE get into a longer game? Do we go for a safer build this time? Do we go 3-gate blink, robo, and then a 3rd base? I mean, the problem is that this is a larger map. I would still want to see an economic build out of ShoWTimE. We'll see. Oh. I saw that. Clem, he set, I believe he set a camera hockey location here, but we'll see if that meant anything. For now though, going for a Rax expand. Once again, standard opener here, economic start by Clem. Has not deviated, has not gone double gas at all this series, not yet. As from here, he will expand. And this should lead into said factory follow-up. Now, every game we've seen Rax into Tech Lab, into Factory, into Add-on Swap, into Cyclone play. We'll see if an SCV gets sent across the map. If we do make use of this area, this would be a prime location for a proxy starport, potentially. Hello. Yeah, so he did set the camera up there. Happy, we noticed. Yeah, there it is. So again, at the start of the game, he set his camera hockey location here, and I was like, does that mean anything? It does. So it does look like a proxy starport. Looks like a proxy starport here by Clem, going for his 1-1-1. This time, if you notice, that is not a tech lab, that is a reactor. For the first time this series, a reactor, not a tech lab. This will be for an add-on swap into reactored Hellion, into what should be a Hellion drop. Now, I might be getting ahead of myself. This might be a starport into Liberator instead. Technically, Clem has options here, but proxy Liberator is very niche. It's very, very niche. There's that starport. It's on the way. Yeah, ShoWTimE does poke in. Oh! Does poke in. Will delay the CC. Not bad. Kills the building SCV. Delays the command center. Damage is being done. A second depth does arrive as well. And more importantly, ShoWTimE, he doesn't scout the proxy, but he sees the Hellions. We pointed out earlier, Game 1 and Game 2, there were no Hellions at all at this stage of the game. There was a Cyclone. Remember, it was the Tech Lab into Cyclone. To go Reactor to Hellion is a sign of things to come. So ShoWTimE, you should be getting ready. There we go. Safety batteries on the way. ShoWTimE should be walling up here at the natural. He should be walling up. Seeing Hellions doesn't confirm Hellion drop, but it does confirm aggression. So you can see ShoWTimE is actually pulling everything together here at the natural. Now, even though it won't be a frontal assault, thankfully for ShoWTimE, the proxy isn't here outside of the main base. If the proxy was designed to go straight into the main, then ShoWTimE would be in trouble, but the medevac is designed to hit the natural, and ShoWTimE is relatively in position. He's here at the natural base. Oh, he was. Hellions A drop in for Hellions A one-shot probes. So far, 3 probes go down. Ooh, medevac takes a lot of hits. Up, does barely unload in time. Oh, and more damage is being done. Oh god, oh god. No, 7, 9. 9 probe kills, 2 Hellions, they get away. We could have got an extra volley up there. The Hellions, they pull out. And so far, very nice damage here for Clem, killing 9 probes for only 2 Hellions. Oof. Ay, ay, ay. Clem, he pulls back. He has crippled the economy of ShoWTimE. Back at home, Clem, he's getting his own 3-1-1. And when behind, Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. Now, based on Clem's vision here, he saw the researching Twilight Council. So I do like this decision. There's definitely like a method behind the madness here. It is a desperation move, that is true, but there's a much higher chance that Clem isn't ready for this. The reason for this is because Clem, with his Hellion drop, he scouted the bases. He saw the Robo, he saw the Gateway, he saw the researching Twilight Council. So the last thing on his mind is going to be DTs. Just because it's inefficient, right? It would be inefficient. Now, what concerns me is I believe the eBay did finish. There's no safety turret, thankfully. But once again, just like last game, scans may be available. Maybe. ShoWTimE is moving out. Diving into the main. Snipe the Cyclone, not bad. Cyclone got sniped. No scans are available yet. So because they get behind the mineral line. Dark Shrine is done. Yeah, the Dark Shrine is complete. So far, Clem, he defends his main. And where are those Dark Templar? Here they come. And where are the scans? Oh, where are the scans? There's one scan. Okay, there's one scan in the main. Does he mule? Does he mule? He's holding on. He's holding on to the scan. DT waddles in. Scans the main. Kills 1. I have those on one scan there. Yeah, only 1 scan available. GG gets called. There was only 1 scan. There were 3 Dark Templar. And ShoWTimE takes the win. GG. GG, well played. Unlike the previous game where there were 2 scans available, here there was only 1. Only 1 scan. That was the only form of detection. There was no Raven on the way. There was no setup for a Raven either. GG. GG, well played. And this kind of confirms or validates what we said in the previous game when we first saw the initial Dark Shrine in Game 2. We were like, we have seen many a top Terran player just insta GG to this. Adding another to the list where Clem, he will join the likes of Maru and Kyor and Bjorn and all the other top Terran players that have insta GGs here to Dark Templar. The Invisible Man is pretty good. It's pretty good. No detection. GG. Aye. But GG, well played. With that, we're getting to game number 4, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can take that momentum and make something of it here. Of course, that last game was very cheeky. As we mentioned, the reason, at least in my opinion, the reason why it worked so well is because we saw that it was delayed. It was a delayed Dark Shrine, which meant that Clem scouted the bases and he saw the research, so the last thing on his mind was going to be DTs. But we shouldn't be seeing that again this series. This is where we have to rely on something different. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. And spawning Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran for Team Liquid. It is Clem. We going again. Clem, he had a nice start last game. He had a good start. He was able to get into the mineral line. He roasted up some probes, got 9 probe kills. It was good. It was great. But the Invisible Man is even better. The Invisible Man, they're crazy, crazy. As Clem, he's upset for the first time this series. Double gas opener here. So Clem, he's going to be delaying his CC. He's going for a faster factory and a faster starport as a result. This is going to be a much more tech heavy start. Technically this can turn into a 1 base all in, but Clem isn't really one to embrace that, and this isn't a really good map for it either. So just a tech heavy start. There we go. There's that factory. ShoWTimE, he does not confirm. Doesn't confirm the follow-up. For all he knows, there could be a CC further back in the high ground. ShoWTimE does pull away. From here he pulls away. Again, I don't imagine he's going to go into a Dark Shrine 3 games in a row. It's already been 2. 3 games in a row, it'd be a little bit too ambitious. So we're expecting an economic start, maybe even a safer start. We'll see. Adept does shade across the map. Reaper does slip in. Yeah, slips into the main, disrupting the economy. Might get a probe. Maybe one. Nah, not even. It's just laying some mining. Reaper does pull out. At the same time, Adept does threaten a shade. Back at home, there's Reaper Hellion amassing. And once they deal with the Adept, they can move out across the map. Oh, as he had to commit to shade. CC goes down. Oh, sorry, meant to be SCV goes down. So it delays the command center. Behind this, Clem getting into zone 1-1-1. Reaper back into the main. Killing 2 probes. Oh my god, that should not have happened. Yeah, 2 probes go down and the Reaper even escapes. Ay, ay, ay. So nice damage here by Clem. Did invest into, I believe, only 2. Yeah, 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion, so not the biggest investment. Once again, diving into the mineral line. Killing more probes. This is getting out of hand. This is getting a little bit out of hand here. Thankfully, the battery is done. And then 4 workers fall. So 4 probes and an Adept. Reaper back in. A second gateway gets thrown down. So far, it's 2 gate blink. Confirms the research. It does confirm. Once again, checking for another Dark Shrine, checking for extra gateways. This Clem does go for his follow-up drop. Okay, the aggression continues. ShoWTimE is being safe. We do see another gate on the way and the robo. So for the first time this series, it's going to be 3 gate blink and a robo on 2 bases into a much, much later third. So late third base here for ShoWTimE. I don't know if it's necessary to be this safe on Winter Madness, I'll be honest, but I guess based on how the series has been progressing, he feels the need to be safer. I don't blame him. Back in. Breaks in, pulls away. Again, doesn't commit, doesn't need to. More importantly though, what did Clem just do? He just checked for the third base timing. And the fact that there was no third tells Clem that, you're staying on a higher gateway count. Now, for all Clem knows, it could be 4 gate blink, right? It could be even more aggressive than what we're seeing. So Clem, he has to take a defensive stance. Getting a second tank. Stim is on the way, and you can see his tank is in position to cover his main. So he's defending his main base and his natural here from any kind of Blink Stalker aggression. Again, he doesn't know how high the gateway count is. So he's playing it safe. He just knows it's more than 2. ShoWTimE does threaten to dive into the main. Spots the tanks. Or spots the army. Ooh, as the observer does overextend. Yeah, observer goes down. This is going to be pretty fast stim. Sorry, pretty fast storm. I mean, stim is finishing up as well. But very fast Temple Archives rushing into storm. Storm before charge, so very fast splash damage here out of ShoWTimE. And he can even make use of this aggressively. He can even go for storm drops. So eyes are on ShoWTimE. Oh, meanwhile ShoWTimE, he does miss the move out. Does miss the drop. Uh-oh. If all goes well, Clem, he might even snipe the High Templar. ShoWTimE uses a spotted pylon, but so far he has missed the drop. Main army gets spotted. ShoWTimE is distracted. Drop comes in. Going for the mineral line. Delays mining. Mining is denied. Storm is coming in. Nice feedback on the medevac. Does get a sniper. Ooh, Storm on the main army as well. But he throws down 3 auto towers, and he wants his High Templar. Gets 1. Yeah, 1 Templar goes down. Does spend 2 storms. That means there's no defensive storm here. There's only 1 storm. There should have been 3. No shot. Yeah, storms are wasted, and Clemmy's done it. He has broken ShoWTimE. Ay. ShoWTimE, he was even going for a safe build. He even had storm ready. Oh my god, massive storm in the army. But imagine if he had 2 more storms here. 2 more storms would have been the difference of a defense or a death at the 3rd. Or death of the 3rd base. But again, he had to waste 2 storms here against the drop. And Clem's going for the kill. Clem is going for the kill, going for the throats. ShoWTimE just wanted to macro this series, by the way. Like, except for the games where he went DTs. But GG gets called, and Clem he overwhelms. Clem will claim the series 3-1. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE, he had the tools to defend. He had the tools. He went for a safer build, extra gateways, later 3rd base. He had his High Templar. He had his storm banked up. But again, he had to waste his storms against a medevac drop. Against what? 4 Marines? Right? It was a medevac drop with 4 Marines and a Cyclone. Like, there wasn't really much there. But storms were being forced out. It was 2 storms at that natural base. And that means that the main army was that much more free to just snowball out of control. To break the expansion, to break through the main army. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem, he will claim the series. He will advance on to the grand finals. ShoWTimE gets knocked down to the lower bracket. But do not fret. Again, it is double elimination. It's double elimination here. ShoWTimE, he has his next opponent. It is going to be another best of 5, another TVP as well. But this time he's going to be going up against his own countryman. It's going to be German on German action here. It's going to be Big Gabe versus ShoWTimE. Let's go.